Hello everyone. So today we begin module 4, the second part of module 4, that is introduction to turbines. And the first turbine we'll be studying is about the impulse turbines. So these are the contents I'll be covering. First, I'll be introducing to you what is hydraulic machines, then a general layout of a hydropower plant, the heads of turbine, efficiencies of turbine, and then the classification of your hydraulic turbine. Now, when I say hydraulic machines, there are a lot of it's a very vast field of mechanical engineering. And here I'm just talking about the hydraulic power due to your water. Okay, so turbines are huge number of turbines, gas turbines, so many types of pumps are there. But here I'm very much restricted to the use of water in my hydraulic machine. So when I'm using water, there are two types, main types. The first one is turbines and the second one is pump. Okay, I repeat again, there are other sources also where, for example, milk is being pumped up. There's so many other fluids also. But here in my preview, I'm only looking into water as my medium, water as my this. So now hydraulic machines using water, I'm dividing broadly into turbines as well as pump. Now your turbines, what does it do? It converts HE, means your hydraulic energy, to ME, that is mechanical energy. Your hydraulic energy is the energy possessed by the water, and it converts to mechanical energy. Your mechanical energy is in the form of your kinetic energy and pressure energy. It can be either one or both. Okay. Whereas your pump does the reverse. It converts your mechanical energy to hydraulic energy. Now, when I say, when you have generally seen turbine, we feel that water is getting converted to electricity. No, the turbine only converts your hydraulic energy to mechanical energy. Well, after that, there's a generator. The generator is converting your mechanical energy to your electrical energy. Now, in turbine, we have two further division based on the energy at inlet, that is called as the impulse turbine as well as a reaction turbine. Now, impulse turbines are turbines in which the energy at inlet is only due to velocity, that is, only kinetic energy is taken into consideration. Well, all this further you will understand it better. Whereas in reaction turbines, the energy at inlet has both kinetic and your pressure component. Okay, so under that we are dealing with two types of turbine, that is Francis turbine and Kaplan turbine. So these are all related to turbine, and these are the three turbines which is there in your syllabus. Now coming next to your pump, it converts mechanical energy to hydraulic energy, mechanical energy to hydraulic energy. Remember, the motor converts the electrical energy to mechanical, and then you have the pump which is converting to your mechanical to your hydraulic energy. Now in this there are two types, centrifugal pump and reciprocating pump. Your centrifugal pump, in simple terms, the pump which is used in our houses is your centrifugal pump. It lifts water upstairs. Whereas your reciprocating pump is your cycle pump. Okay, it has got a forward and backward movement, and through that you are circulating air. So reciprocating pump is not there in your syllabus. That's why I've given a green color. So my subjects which I'll be the pumps and turbines which I'll be covering is Pelton wheel, Francis turbine, Kaplan turbine, and centrifugal pump. Now, we'll just look at the general layout of a hydroelectric power plant. Your turbines are generally placed where there is a large storage of water. Now, most of the cases you have a dam. A dam is a structure, it's an obstruction which impounds water, and you have a high rise, high level of water. Or you can also place turbines in a perennial river, across a perennial river. But the preferred method is a dam because you have a huge storage of water. Generally, dams are preferred. So I've just shown the diagram with a, you know, where a dam is there and there's an obstruction. Because of that, there's an impounding. Impounding is a rise of water level. Now here, the first thing is your dam construction. Your dam should be there. And for my power generation, there is a pipe. The pipe is called as my penstock. The pipe connects the upper portion of the dam, the upstream of the dam, to the turbine. Okay. And the turbine at the end, it has got generally a nozzle. A nozzle is a smaller area compared to your penstock. And that penstock delivers water to my turbine. Now, generally, my turbine has vanes or blades attached to it. And this central portion is called as a runner. When we specifically do turbines, there are different names for it, but commonly this circular part is called as my runner. So your turbine consists of both blades as well as runner. Now coming to heads I'll be doing. So these are the different parts: your dam, penstock, and my turbine. And turbine has got vanes or blades as well as your runner part. Now coming to different heads, there are two heads, gross head as well as net head. Your gross head is a difference in the level of water upstream and downstream when there is no flow. Okay, when the water is not flowing, the difference of height between the top level on the upstream is a portion before the dam and the downstream is after your dam. So this level minus the level of water down. Now this level is called as a head raise, and the level after the dam, the downstream portion, is called as your tail raise. Sometimes tail raise can be zero also, there won't be any water also. That is also, there's a possibility, but if the amount of water is there, your total head or gross head is a difference between your head raise and your tail raise. Now next component is your net head. Now net head is the one which you'll be using for all your formulas. Your net head includes your gross head minus all the losses incurred by the transportation of water from the upstream till my turbine. So there are a lot of losses, but I'll take the main loss. The main loss I'll consider is due to friction, and I'll be using my Darcy's formula. Okay, the friction of pipe, friction due to your penstock throughout the length. Okay, friction is a major loss. It is present throughout the length. So only that loss I'm considering. I can consider minor loss also, like because of bend or some obstruction also, but I'm just ignoring that. So my net head is the gross head minus the losses, and the losses can be major and minor, and here I'm considering only the major loss, that is due to friction, and that is mainly due to the friction in the penstock. So I've written the formulas also like that. Gross head, difference between head raise level and tail raise level, it is represented as HG. Net head is H, and this is what is used in all your formulas when we do further. Head available at inlet of turbine. Okay, I repeat here again, head means the energy per unit weight, and it is also called as effective head, and this is calculated by Hg minus Hf. So H, your small s generally represent losses, and losses you can consider the whole loss, but mainly I'll be considering the major loss, and that is given by my Darcy's law. That is equal to Darcy's, Darcy-Weisbach equation, that is HF is equal to 4 FLV square by 2 GD, where L is a length, V is a velocity, D is the diameter of penstock, and F is your friction factor. Okay, so this is my head. Now next, coming on to efficiency. Now before I go on to efficiency, now this I have shown the cross section. Your turbine can be having a horizontal shaft, vertical shaft. So I have just shown one type of turbine. Now behind this turbine, there's a whole setup. Immediately after the runner, there is a shaft. That is what I'm showing in this figure. This is my blade. This is a central runner, and it is connected to the shaft. Shaft is this, pipe-like structure, and this shaft is connected to your generator. So what happens? The water is flowing. It is in contact with the runner, and the runner is moving, and then because of the movement of the runner, the shaft is also rotating. So with this, we will be defining what and all are the efficiencies associated with your turbine. Now before I go to efficiency, it is important to know what are the different types of power. Your power is work done, the rate of work done. So I can write it as work done per second or work done per hour. The unit is watt. We generally represent in terms of kilowatt. And remember, kilowatt, K is small, W is capital. Generally, names after scientists, we give a capital letter. So the water power is the power purely due to water. I told you we are dealing only the machines related to water. So I'm very clearly told due to water. And here rho is equal to 1000 kg per meter cube. The density of water is 1000 kg per whatever. So water power is purely due to your hydraulic power. And this is a power which is supplied to your inlet. At the inlet, at your penstock, at the nozzle, this is a power being supplied. The next is my runner power. The runner power is a power delivered to the runner. And next one is shaft power. The shaft power is a power at the shaft of the turbine. So remember these three power from your water power, runner power and shaft power. So my initial input is I am having a flow of water. That is my water power. The formula is given by rho g QH by 1000, where rho is density, Q is the discharge of water, and H is your net head. Okay. Now, when this power is meeting the runner, when this water is meeting with the runner, not all the water is passing through the runner. There are some losses. The veins are smooth, or depending on the surface of the veins, there is some loss. So we define the first efficiency as hydraulic efficiency, where the input is water power and the output is the runner power. So my formula will be hydraulic efficiency is runner power by water power. Okay. Now the next efficiency is the mechanical efficiency. Now, because of my water, the runner is moving, and since the runner is rotating, the shaft is also rotating. So due to mechanical losses, remember that efficiency is never 100%. You can't transfer any energy, completely to the runner system. So there are some mechanical losses. So there is a portion of runner power which is getting converted to shaft power. So I define my mechanical efficiency as shaft power by runner power. So I've written the same thing in a little better way. So hydraulic efficiency is my input is water power and the output is to the runner what is the power being given. Mechanical efficiency from the runner to the your shaft. There can be mechanical losses. And remember, all these efficiencies are very high percentage. It will be around greater than 0.8 generally. 0.8 or 80% generally, 80 to 90% generally. And when I combine these both, I have the overall efficiency. That is, my input is water and the final one is shaft. So I can segregate this as shaft power by runner power into runner power by water power. Your shaft power by runner power is nothing but your mechanical efficiency. Runner power by water power is nothing but your hydraulic efficiency. And there is one more efficiency called as a volumetric efficiency. Now this is dealing with the volume part. The input is the volume of water supplied to the turbine. I am supplying some amount of water, but it is not necessary it has to really touch the runner. So my output is the volume of water actually striking the runner. Okay, so your volumetric efficiency is defined as the volume of water actually striking divided by the volume of water supplied to the turbine. Okay, so these are the four efficiencies: hydraulic efficiency, mechanical efficiency, overall efficiency, and volumetric efficiency. Now next we come to the classification of turbines. So the first classification is according to the type of energy at inlet. Okay, so when I say inlet, at this point, what is the energy associated? There are two types of energy associated: impulse as well as reaction. Now, when I say impulse, the energy possessed by the water is only kinetic in nature, is called as your impulse turbine. Okay, the energy at your inlet is only kinetic. Whereas in reaction turbine, the water possesses both kinetic as well as pressure energy. In that case, it is called as your reaction turbine. Okay. Now, in all these things in detail, as you go further, you will be able to understand it better. Now, next is depending on the direction of flow at runner. There is tangential flow, radial flow, axial flow, and mixed flow. This diagram helps it better. Now, this is my Pelton wheel turbine, your Francis turbine, and Kaplan turbine. Now, here in a Pelton wheel turbine, the water is passing here. It is not rotating around. So, since there's no rotation, my pressure is maintained at atmospheric pressure. There is only energy due to my velocity. And when I say velocity, it is due to kinetic. It is only hitting here. It is not circulating around my runner. So this is my tangential flow. We're dealing with direction of flow, tangential. It goes perpendicular to your radius of your runner. Your radial flow is, it goes inside. There are two types of radial flow, radially inward, radially outward. So when I'm having a radial flow, it is either going inside or it is coming outside. The third is my axial flow, where the water is passing through the axis. Okay, through the axis of the turbine. It is called as your axial flow. And the fourth one is mixed flow. Your Francis turbine has mixed flow, where it is coming radially inward and going axially outside direction. Okay. So these are the different types of flow. Now again, according to the head available at inlet of turbine, I'm dividing into low head, medium head, and high head turbines. Now this picture will explain to you the same. So we define the gross head as a level of water on top minus a level of water on the downstream. Level of water on the upstream minus level of water at the downstream. And your net head was taking the losses into consideration. So just imagine that the losses are all same. I can say it depends between the height difference between these two levels. So remember that it does not necessarily depend on the amount of water. The picture very clearly shows it depends mainly on the position of your water in the upstream and downstream. So based on the position, this is defined as high head. You've got high H value here. Relatively, this is medium, and this is my low head. So it does not depend on the amount of water. It depends on the position where the water source is there, upstream as well as downstream. Low head, medium head, and high head. Your Pelton wheel requires a high head. Your Kaplan turbine works well with a low head turbine. Now the next classification is specific speed. A specific speed is the speed of a turbine which is identical in shape, geometrical dimensions, blade angles, gate openings, etc. with the actual turbine, but of such a size that will develop unit power when under unit head. I'll just take this into picture. Now specific speed is mainly for comparison of turbines. Your turbines are all different, different in nature. They've got different types of direction of flow, different heads. To compare it, we are trying to find the specific speed. So in that, what I'm doing, assume I'm having the same dimensions for all three turbines. For the same dimensions, if I give a unit head, what is the speed of the turbine? Now, what is the rotation required to develop unit power? That is my specific speed. I repeat again, I'm having similar dimensions, all three turbines. So if I have a unit head, 1 meter of head, to generate a unit power, 1 kilowatt power, what is the speed? What is the rotation of my turbine required? So this is mainly for your comparison. You are calculating your specific speed. So according to specific speed, again, there are three types: low specific speed, medium specific speed, and high specific speed turbine. So this ends the classification, and the rest I'll be continuing in the next class. Thank you.